All right, continuing on with the space poster. Let's go over to our sample and see what's next. Folder number 2, paper mask. So this is a weird folder. It has a layer mask on it, and the layer mask is to make the paper that's underneath it visible around the outside. So if I disable this mask by clicking on Shift, you can see that all the contents of this folder go all the way out to the edges. But because I have a layer mask on it, and I'll show you what the layer mask looks like. Let's do this. It's just black around the outside, which blocks out everything that's inside the folder around the whole outside. In the center, it lets everything come through because it's white. All right, let me switch back to that. Inside my folder, I have a lot of other folders. So I have the space folder, the Earth, astronaut, planet, and satellite folder. I want you to organize yours in the same fashion and name everything the same way. I'm going to poke out the eyes of all the top ones and we'll just take a look at the space. So here we have two things. We have nebula and we have space. So I'm going to go grab space, but before I do that, I want to show you how you can tell how this was made. If I click on the space layer, I'm going to look two places. Up here, I'm going to look under the blend mode. In this case, the blend mode is normal, and then the opacity, which is set for 100%. Now, when I click on the nebula, the blend mode is set for lighten, and the opacity is set for 50%. So that's how that was achieved. All right, so let's remember that as we're going through the rest of these folders. Always click on the layer, check the blend mode, and check the opacity setting. So space and nebula. Let's go back over to our build. In this case, I'm going to say File, Open, or I can go back to my desktop, File, and Open, and I'm going to find my art source, and I'm looking for the nebula, which is this one, and the space. So I'm going to Command click to get both of those and say Open, and they are opening here in Photoshop. We'll zoom out. All right, there's my whole space. I'm going to select all, Command A, Command C to copy, Command W to close that window, and then I'm going to go over to my build, and I'm going to paste it right here. Now when you paste things in, they come right above the layer that was selected. So I had this folder selected, and it pasted space right in there. So if I come back over to my sample, and I'm going to turn off the nebula, just so I can see the space itself. I'm looking on here for some clues as to which way to flip this around, and I see these three bright stars right here, and then this, whatever that is. It's an alien. And I'm going to come over here and say, oh yeah, I'm looking for, and I don't see them. I don't see those things. So again, this thing might be bigger than it looks. I'm going to click on it with the move tool, drag it around, and oh, three bright stars, and that thing. So apparently I have to rotate it, stick the stars up there, and then this bright thing should be right here. Before I rotate it, I'm going to turn it into a smart object. So right click, convert to smart object. I can rename it right now, space, and then I can transform it. I can right click and say, let's rotate this thing 90 degrees counterclockwise, and that'll get it where it needs to be. And then I'm going to make it smaller. So I'm just going to drag this down here, and maybe not that small. Space is big, but it's not that small. There we go. I'm going to try that. And I believe those are closer to the corner, so I'll push that over that way. And let's see what happens if I go here. Oh, this is very close. I'm going to say that's good. Next, I want to go get the nebula, which is here. Select all again, Command A, Command C to copy, Command W to dismiss the window, and then I'm going to paste it in. So, whoa, this is very big. So right from the get-go, do you remember what these were set for? Because I don't. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to turn on the nebula, and it's lighten and 50%. So, and it's right over here. See where it's kind of sitting in there? So let's go here, and we'll switch the blend mode to lighten, and then we'll switch it to 50%. Okay, now I got to transform it. Like that blue part was down here, and this part was going that direction. So Command T to transform. It's much smaller still. I can rotate it. Whoop. It's going to transform it again. I'm going to rotate it. Hello, rotate please. There we go. Just outside of there. Smaller still. I'm thinking, I don't know. That looks pretty close. So I'm going to say, I'm going to return. I'm going to click over here. And it looks like I just need to push it over to the right a little bit more. Maybe rotate it slightly. So transform, rotate, maybe make it a little bit bigger. Push over to the right. And hit return again to accept that. And that is pretty close. I'm going to move it a little bit farther. All right, I'm going to let you work on that and get it closer still. All right, so that's done. And this all then, space and nebula, which I need to name those two. I'm going to come over here. It goes in a folder called space. So space, nebula, folder called space. Over here, there's space. There's nebula. I'm going to shift select both of them, make a new folder, and call this one space. All right, and now I'm ready to do save. I said to save for every layer, but you know, I forget. So Command S, I'm going to Command S from now on, but it's right here, File Save, and that will save my work. Also notice from here to here, I don't have this big background layer, so I'm going to get rid of this. The background paper covers everything up anyway, so I'll just drag that to the trash can and get rid of it. I'll come back over here and we'll look at our next folder, which is Earth. Okay, so if I shut that one and open this one, I can see I have three components that make up the Earth. You can't see this, so I'm going to pop this over for a second. Lens flare, the Earth shadow. So lens flare is that little guy right there, kind of these specular lights on their image. I have shadow, which is set for multiplying 85%. Let's see what this is set for. Oh, this is set for lighten and 78%. So I'll close those up. This one's set for normal and 100%. And here's Earth, which is a smart object floating in space. So let's start right there. I'm going to come over here, File, Open. Command O would do that. I'm going to find Earth in here. There's Earth. And I'm going to say OK. And here's Earth. I'm going to mask Earth right here because it's a little big for my build. And I'm going to use the elliptical marquee tool. Now, with the elliptical marquee tool, if you remember, if I drag it, doesn't matter where I start dragging. Oh, that was pretty accurate. I want to hold Shift down to keep it round, and we hope the Earth is somewhat round. But if I don't get it in exactly the right space or spot to start with, I can add the space bar to that. And since we're in space, I'm using the space bar to get it to, I'm just holding the Shift key down and adding the space bar when I want to move that around. Okay, and then when I get it where I want it, I'm going to let go of my mouse button first, and then I'll let go of those two keys. So let's hit this button right here to add a mask to it. And then the edge is a little bit sharp, so I'm going to soften the edge, click on the mask layer itself, and I'm going to open my properties panel here and then make sure that mask is selected. And right here I can feather the edge of the Earth, the mask, and I'm going to feather it to about, let's say, 5, 6 pixels. There we go. Now I have that soft edge mask. So I want to bring both the Earth and the mask over into my build right here. So I'm going to click out here in the gray area, click and hold down, and then drag it up to that tab, drag it into my canvas, and then let go. There's the big old Earth now floating in space. Next, we're going to make it into a smart object. So I'm going to right click and convert it to a smart object and then rename it Earth. Okay, let's transform the Earth. Command T on my Earth smart object, and I'm going to make her a little bit smaller. I'm going to start right here, and then I'm going to transform it some more later because I want to make the shadow on it first. So I'm going to take a look over here and see that this Earth shadow layer is just a kind of a gray soft edge circle that's set to multiply in 85% Earth shadow. So I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to take the marquee tool and make a circle. I'm holding down the Shift key to make it round, about the same size as the Earth. And then I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm going to fill that layer. So edit, fill that layer from the pull down menu with black and say OK. Now I'm going to Command D or deselect the marching ants, and now I'm going to use the move tool. I have this shadow layer. problem is, now I'm going to see how it goes in the background. I only want it to go on the earth. So I'm going to make a clipping mask out of that layer. So I'm going to right click again in the gray area here and come down here where it says create clipping mask. And now it stays on my earth and it doesn't go into the background. Very nice. So I'm going to change this to multiply. My blend mode is now multiply and about 85% on the transparency, so I can see a little bit of that earth on the shadowy side. Then I'm just going to use filter, blur, Gaussian blur. We use Gaussian blur because it sounds cool. And then I'm going to turn up the blur, 60 pixels, there we go. And then I can move it on the earth where I want it to go. That's where I want it to go. Maybe I want it to go there. All right, now I can take these two things and transform them together. I'm not too worried about making this into a smart object since it's just a soft blurry edge anyway, but I'm going to shift select and transform both of those at the same time. So Command T, and that way they'll move together. I think I need to make this a little smaller. I could be wrong. Next I'm going to come back over here and see what's next. Oh, well, I'll call this Earth Shadow. I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to do this lens flare. Now lens flare is something that you need to pay attention to because it's a little strange. All right, so it is set for lighten and 78%, so we have to know that. And there's no asset for this. You're just going to make it. Photoshop will help you do that. So I'm going to start with a new layer. I'm going to fill the layer, edit, fill, with black again. I know that my earth is about right here, and this is where I want the lens, the bright part of the lens flare to show up. So I'm going to leave that turned on and selected, and I'm going to filter and render, and under render, lens flare, ... which means there's another dialog box. So the lens flares, I have several to choose from. The one we used for this poster was the 105 prime, and if I want to change the bright spot, I can move it down just by dragging that little X. So I'm going to put it about right there and say OK. So I'm going to change the blend mode on this to lighten, the opacity to about 78%, and then I'm going to move it with my move tool so that that bright spot is right on the edge of the earth. Then I need to rename this Lens Flare 105. I'm going to shift select all of the earth parts and put them in a folder and rename that earth. And that's it for now.